That depends a good deal on where you want to go. Alice says, I don't much care where. And the cat says, then it doesn't much matter which way you go. And Alice interrupts, so long as I get somewhere. And the cat says, oh, you're sure to do that as long as you just keep walking. So we don't want to do that. We want to have a plan. We want to have a vision. And one of the things that happens in life is a lot of people don't have these goals. And it's why a lot of people seem to kind of drift along. And they're not sure where they want to go or what they want to do. Their times aren't getting faster. They're getting burned out. They get injured. And so that's where goal setting is real important. It gets us where we want to go, what's important to us. And you need this long-term vision. And so examples might be to run a specific distance, like a 5K, half marathon, a marathon, ultra, tri, duathlon, whatever it is. It may be that you want to finish in a certain time, or that you want to run a specific race, and therefore you know when the date of that race is, and therefore it does make your goal setting a little bit easier. Here's one of the things a lot of people don't do when they set a goal, and it, in my opinion, is the most important thing. You need to write it down. You need to post it. It's so easy to do now with social media, but put it on your bathroom mirror, because you're going to see it every morning, and you're going to see it every evening, and it's going to be that constant reminder. Put it on the refrigerator, especially if you have a goal of wanting to lose weight. Put it on the pantry door, in case you want to lose weight. Put it on the dashboard of your car, because you left work, you really don't feel like going to work out, and you look down and you say, yeah, that's important to me, I'm going to drive to the workout and I'm going to get it done. Have it at work, because we spend a lot of time there. And one of the easiest ways to do it is make it your password. We all have passwords for everything. Run 26.2. Lose 15 pounds. Okay? Then it's a constant reminder. And that's what you need to do, because obviously you think it's important because it's your goal. You've made this your vision. And so you need that reminder, though, of what's important. So, and tell people about it. And the reason we do that is, one, it helps keep us accountable, but the other thing is you might find someone else that has a similar goal. And believe me, it's a lot easier, because a lot of you, like this morning, probably wouldn't have run what you just ran as fast as you just ran it if there weren't other people there that help you accountable. And one of the great things about groups like this is there's days where you're not feeling it and someone's pulling you along. And there's days you're feeling good and you're pulling them along. And so that's why group training is so important. And again, it reminds you what's important. And I say that because a lot of times Saturday morning, most of us are getting up earlier than when we get up for work. And so Friday nights, when a buddy calls and says, hey, I'm heading down to 6th Street, want to come down? And you look at your mirror and, no, I've got plans tomorrow. I have a very long-term goal that I want to get accomplished. And it reminds you of what's important. And so you have to plan for that. But you also need to have these short-term goals, because something 6 months away is hard to keep active and going. And so that's why you have short-term ones. And I use the phrase, how to eat an elephant. One bite at a time. You don't consume it all at once. And again, a lot of people training for a marathon are actually going to use this phrase, a journey of 2,000 miles starts with one step at a time. There are people out here that will actually run 2,000 miles before they actually get to that starting line of a marathon, depending on when they start, 9 months out, a year out, whatever. The other way I use goal setting is every workout. Every workout I go to, I have goals of what I want to do in that workout. Otherwise, how do you know if you were successful and how it relates to your long-term goal? And so the way I do this is I have 3 types of goals. We have an easy goal, and that's just one that will make you happy. It may be finish the race. It may be just show up at the workout, because I really wasn't feeling it today, and if I even make it to the workout, I'm going to be happy about that. Maybe if you have a workout that has a distance from like 1 to 3 miles of speed work, and you get the short, you get the one in, I'm happy about that. Then have a medium to difficult. So this one's going to take some effort. And for example, if you run a marathon or run a half before, it may be a personal best, your personal record. It may be a personal record for that course if you've done it multiple times. And during workouts, it's negative splits. And one of the things to know, because I won't go all the details, negative splits are basically doing each interval faster than the one before. So if you're doing mile repeats, each mile gets a little bit faster. It's hard to do. and it's a great way of training your body to mentally know that I can get faster, not slower. And a lot of times that's the problem with the way we train, is we get slower as we're training, and therefore during a race, I say to myself, I get slower all the time, so it's okay that I'm getting slower during the race. No, you train yourself to run negatively, and therefore you know that you're stronger as you go along if you do it right. And finally, the stretch goal. And this is one that only happens like 3 or 4 times in your entire life. Okay? So it's a stretch goal. If you're accomplishing your stretch goals frequently, then they aren't really stretch goals. They're probably more medium to difficult. And so, an example, how many first-time marathoners, half marathoners out there? Okay? So I'm going to make your goals real simple for this coming up. Okay? Easy goal. One that'll make you happy. Finish the race. That's all you need to do, your first one. Just finish. You'll be happy. Trust me. Medium to difficult goal. Run your personal best. Well, guess what? If it's your first race, it's your personal best. So there you go. You got easy and medium out of the way. Now for that stretch goal. Have fun. I've run over 50 marathons. They're not all fun. They're fun when I finish, but they're not all fun. Think about that. If you're out there 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, if you're at work 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, you're not having fun that entire time. So to have fun the entire time is a stretch goal, and it's something to think about. So for your first one, so you got that nailed. I'm going to give you 2 examples of how stretch goals help. Okay, the first one is back in 1998, I was planning to run the Chicago Marathon. Okay, and the reason you need to have these in your head is when things happen during a race, that as it unfolds, and you start to say, hey, I've got a real shot at making this stretch goal. But if you don't have that in your mind, you can actually freak out because you may be going a lot faster than you think you really can, and then you shut it down. And so here's what my easy goal was. I wanted to run faster than the previous year. The previous year I'd run 2:48. So I ran 6:24 pace for a marathon. My medium goal was to run a PR. My PR at that time was 2:44 or a 6:15 pace. My stretch goal, so we're talking 6:24 happy, 6:15 medium. My stretch goal was a sub-6 marathon pace. And so in my head, as the race started to unfold, I found myself in the ability or in the range to where I could get that stretch goal. Never happened before, never felt that way before. But what I'm trying to explain is, during the race, if I had been at that point and I hadn't been thinking about that for 6 months, I would have shut it down. I would have said, Bill, you're going way too fast, you're going to explode, and it's not going to happen. And because I'd been thinking about this, it had been on my mind for 6 months, I had been training that way for this stretch goal, I ran 5:58, I ran 2:36.22. And trust me, I was very happy and it was fun. It really was. And it's an amazing time, but again, it doesn't happen all the time. Your stretch goals, they need to be really out there. And I tell people, it's when the planets are in alignment, the weather is perfect, not like today. Everything is good. I was there with my future wife. My heart was good. Physically, I was ready. Emotionally, everything was good. All those things have to be in perfect alignment for a stretch goal. But they happen. But the other thing is I've been thinking about it for 6 months. So mentally, I was ready for when it unfolded. And so that's what you really need to think about. Those 3 goals: easy, medium, and stretch. So long-term goal. Someone's like, oh yeah, 6 months training for a marathon, that's a long-term goal. Well, my longest long-term goal was actually 5 years. So in 2007, I was 45, and I set my sights on going to the Senior Game Nationals in 2013. And so when I turned 50, so just so you know, you have to be 50 or older to go to the Senior Games. And I had to then find out how I even qualify. I had to figure out which races best suit me. And then I had to focus on shorter races since the 10K is a longer event. Believe it or not, in 2007, I completely retired from marathoning altogether and just focused on 5Ks and 10Ks, which were, you know, my strengths. And so the results in 2012 was that I qualified for the Senior State Games, And in 2013 at Nationals, I actually was the national champion in the 5K and the 10K. But that's the kind of goal setting you have to set. I'm a very goal-driven person for everything. Even this morning, Bill, you got to be there at 8:30 to talk, so try and get there at 8. When you're going to get up, everything's set that way. Because I know what it's like to be running a program, and you don't want your speaker showing up 5 minutes before, because you're freaking out. Is they going to be there? What do I need to do? How do I need to do? So that was my goal. Get here, give the speech, and then the one thing I always end these with is the takeaways. Most important is you need to decide what your goal is, not what your friend's goal is, what your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse's goal is. What is your goal? What is important to you? And that's what you need to write down and post. What is your long-term goal that you're training for right now? I can tell you that mine have changed. It used to always be about getting faster, running personal best, those kinds of things. Now my goal in running is mainly so that I can do the things that I like to do in life, like climb mountains. Recently I went and did 7 14,000-foot peaks in 3 days. I couldn't do that if I wasn't running and training, okay? So now my goal in life is, with running, is to live life and not be a spectator, but to be able to participate completely. Goals also allow you to focus on what is important versus what is irrelevant. And I talked about that before. Your buddy calls you up and says, hey, we're going to party. And you know that doesn't fit your plan. You know that isn't your vision. And so you can politely say, hey, I'm going to take a brain check on that and do what's important to you. It motivates you yourself towards a long-term goal using these short-term goals. So you need those workouts. You need to show up on these Saturdays because that's what's important for that long-term goal. Okay? Keep reminding yourself why you're doing it, but use these short-term. And again, what happens is it builds your self-confidence. When you're accomplishing these short-term goals, then when it comes time for that very important goal at a very important date, that self-confidence is there. Just like I talked about with the stretch goal. The confidence is there to make it happen. And when it happens, it's an amazing thing. Trust me, I've been at finish lines more often than I actually race finish lines now. And when I see people finish and they're smiling, people break down and cry, it reminds me, I've been doing this since 1974, racing, okay? Yeah. So I've forgotten a long time ago what it's like to be a first-time finisher at any distance. And so it's a great reminder to see that, and trust me, when I finished in 1998, cell phones had just kind of come out. Sprint had a booth. I ran over to the booth. I called my wife. She's running in the race. But I called her work, and I left an amazing voicemail. You're not going to believe it. All this stuff. Because I was excited. And that's what you need to feel. And that's why that goal is important. And write it down. I know that she's videoing, but I'll also let you know that on noexcusesrunning.com, you can go out. This very same seminar is there. It's free. You don't pay anything. It's there. You can remind yourself of what I talked about. Normally I open up to questions, but I know we're going to do the raffle. So if you want to have any questions about goal setting, anything about running, like I said, I've been coaching since 81, racing since 74. Feel free to talk. I love running. That's why I use the note cards. Otherwise I go way off on tangents because I love to talk about running.
Bill, go ahead. Take some questions.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Take a couple questions. She said I had permission. Any questions on goal setting? Anything on running in general?
Somebody else. Somebody. You have a Boston question? No.
That's what usually happens, and then I'll have a bunch of you come up afterwards. Trust me. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy.